Look like I'm holding a baby.
Are you?
Kind of looks like that. This Olaf actually makes noise too, and it rolls around on the ground.
That freaks me out.
I'll show you that later too. It's funny. It has a magic wand to make it do stuff. It's a little creepy.
Oh, we're live now.
Ooh.
Awesome. Okay. I'm going to mute you. Welcome, everybody. Good night. How are you doing? I am your host and fellow stand-up comic, Kristen Tinsley, and this is In Bed with Comics. So tonight, I have a very spooky and scary and strange surprise for you. I actually don't have a comic on my show. I have the Elvira and Wednesday Addams of East Meadow, the very famous, the very sweet, the very charming, the one that can get you drunk and kill you in the background if she chooses to. And she listens to all our horrible jokes every Tuesday night over at Coasters Tavern at open mic night. Open mic night. Please, everybody, give a very warm and heartfelt welcome to my friend and bartender, Jen Lentini.
Hi, everyone.
Now,
How are you?
I give you a chance to talk, I just want to say, the last name Lentini, was that like like back in the 90s, like, when guys got like those really weird like names, like, Steve the Stab, because Jen Lentini actually sounds like Martini. So it'd be like, Jen Martini, Mike the Dick, I don't know, like one of those weird like 90s names. Like, that's just, did anyone ever think to call you Jen Martini because you're a bartender?
You know what's funny? At yoga, where I go to Emerge and everything, they actually call me Gentini.
Gentini,
and
okay.
That got kind of brought up because I was a bartender and I was the short Jen.
Yeah.
So I was Gentini. But when I was going to school, I got called Jennifer Linguini. Yeah.
You know what I got called in high school? Because
What?
my last name's Tinsley and I have big breasts. That's what they called me. Kristen Titsley. Yeah, that's exactly what they called me. But my nickname has been shortened to Tits. Like, I literally, if I'm walking down the street in Levittown and somebody yells, "Hey, Tits," like, they know. Yeah, I just, "Hey, what's up?" Like, it's become like one of those things. But
we got to get you a shirt on.
You. Yeah, when you have a nickname. Yeah, this is my Fat Girl Swallow shirt, because, girl, I'm getting desperate. You know what I had in my drink? They all melted because they were really small. But in my drink tonight, I'm so desperate that I actually made, remember those little chocolate dicks that I made?
Yes.
Yes. Well, I made them into ice cubes because that's the only dick that I'm actually going to be able to suck on for a very long time. I'm getting desperate, girl. I'm getting desperate.
Let me tell you, those were a big hit. We had those in the freezer and then we're giving them to some people late at night.
Yeah.
That was a really, really good thing you did for everybody.
Cool. Yes. Thank you. Speaking of dicks, you are a bartender. You must come across a lot of dicks all the time. Have you ever seen an actual dick in the bar? Like a real flesh man penis? Has that ever happened?
That has not, but when we did the drag show, I saw that big penis.
Oh, God.
But yeah.
I remember that.
Luckily, I've never actually seen someone's real penis come out, but you never know when everything goes back to normal, that could be the next thing to happen.
Oh yeah, I'm sure people are going to be walking around naked, like, we're free, like, we're not that free. So
they're gonna go crazy and just start coming in there, and I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah. So I know you always have a lot of fun every Tuesday night, and thank you so much for, always giving us cool shots and making it fun and really making it like awesome. But you get to sit behind the bar.
That's my safe place.
Listen to us talk, do the same jokes over and over and over again. Do you ever get like sick and tired of it? We just want to like shut up, be like, "Can you come up with something new?"
Full disclosure, I can't lie and say that sometimes I happen to go into the kitchen on occasion, and you guys probably noticed that. But I've known comics since before I was even bartending.
Right.
So it was sort of something that I got tossed into with bartending in general and just as open mic. But I love it. I would always look forward to going in and, even though it was sort of the same routines,
Yeah.
I would always get to hear a little bit more from each person every week. And the late night after parties was the best sometimes
Oh
when we
yeah.
would just have open mic free for alls with bartenders that were walking in, customers that were walking in. I give you guys credit too. Sometimes you had to deal with people that were drinking since 1 o'clock in the afternoon,
Oh my God, yeah.
trying to figure out how to work them into their routines.
I think we pretty much whipped them into shape. Seriously,
Yeah,
I really
I,
think
I
that I
said,
think that we definitely whipped them into shape because it took a long time, but I finally got some of the regulars that used to give me a hard time, and they would be
yes,
like, "Oh, we really love you. Like, you're so funny. Like, we're so happy that you guys are here. Like, we want to come to the next show. We want to do this. We want to do that." So I kind of feel like it evens itself out, and
very
that was
true.
definitely one of the biggest open mics on Long Island. I mean, I feel like my open mic days are like a distant memory now because we all used to get together every single week and go from open mic to open mic, and everybody had it on different days. But Tuesday was definitely like that was definitely one of the biggest one. I would say, I mean, I think at one point I think we may have had like maybe 40 or 50 comics there.
Oh, there was times where it was almost so many people in there we didn't know what to do with them, and we were there until 2 in the morning just with comics going on. And that's sort of how the tacos came along or the pizza. I wanted you guys to
Yeah.
get fed, and I do tend to like to get people drunk. I mean,
Yeah,
it's part of my
yeah,
job, but
yeah.
if I was going to give a shot away or soak gummy bears, and Vinny was very accepting of it, and Joanne, every time I would ask them. So we have to thank them for letting me get everyone probably a little drunker than they should be.
Yeah.
But
So
it became almost a family. We were a Coasters open mic family. You knew who was
yeah,
coming. When new people would come in, you'd be protective of them though. And the regulars even, I feel that if anybody would say anything to you guys, they were been protective of you too.
yeah, 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 definitely. It definitely did. And all right, so on a scale from 1 to 10, because you say you love comedy, so on a scale from 1 to 10, how much do you actually really love stand-up comedy?
I love it. I
As an
probably have
audience
to say,
perspective and as a bartender perspective.
okay, from an audience perspective, I have to say probably about an 8. I like to watch comedies. I like to go to the comedy shows. I have been to some of the shows at Governors. I was going there even prior, as I said before, bartending was even a thought to me.
Right,
Bartending wise, it could be a little rough just because a lot of times, especially when a comedy show is going on, you can't really pay full attention. You're
right.
sort of trying to serve the drinks. And then if there are regulars there, especially at a show, you're trying to tell them, please be quiet. We have to respect the comics. And you sort of become a mom. Like, stop or you're going in timeout.
That one show that we did, it was for it was for a fundraiser, and we all came down there. I
Yes.
think that was the show. That's what made me like fall in love with Tom Crescenzo, not in like an I love Romeo and Juliet type love, but like a type of love where it was just like, dude, I love you, kid. Like he literally got up there, burped really fucking loud, got everybody's attention, and that was it. And then he was still like he was able to do his set, and from there it was like over.
I
But
agree.
that was definitely a fun night. But everybody just that everybody just kind of like went through it because when you're dealing with alcohol, especially when you're doing a bar shows are a little challenging because people are drunk. I mean, they're buying drinks, they're getting drunk. It's not, you don't have a scary bouncer in the corner that's like, watching you and like, like making sure that you're not heckling or anything like that. Like we don't have that. So we have to go based on like the respect of the people that are in the place. And you definitely helped out with a lot of that. Like I would never say like, oh, Jen doesn't, control her people because you can't control people,
You try your best. And that fundraiser too, the one you brought up, that was actually for one of my friends, Barney, sister, who passed away, rest in peace. And
Yeah.
even just when you look at that perspective, I'm asking you guys now on a Tuesday night, now let alone you do open mics for free, and I'm asking, can you go do a fundraiser for free? And
Yeah.
you know what? You all stepped up. There were
Yep.
comics there that I barely even knew. And that was the great thing with it. If I asked any of you to be anywhere for Coasters, you guys were all there. And even Devin was like IT, the poor kid every time. Can you set up my mic? I'm back in my safe haven. Set up the mic. Or you, Kristen, can you go get this for me? Even 9-Volt, who always made fun of my goat yoga, which one day when all this is over, that kid is going to goat yoga.
You know what? Nick Tardo, I would love to. Nick Tardo, I saw a video of him the other day. He's one of the funniest people I've ever met. And he just has this way about him that's just really fun. Just the way he talks, the way he moves his body, the way everything. But yeah, Nick Tardo is very hilarious. And if you do get him to go to goat yoga,
Yes.
call me and I will be there to video it. So people are
Yes.
asking who your little green friend is over there because, you know.
Okay. So this is Charlie. And I will just let Charlie.
This is what she sleeps with, by the way. Hi, Bonnie. Because that's what you want comforting you when you wake up in the middle of the night from a nightmare.
He's sort of Facebook famous because people have seen him in my posts when I do yoga or different things, and he's tagged in there. I never brought him to the bar yet, but it might happen now. Afterwards, on a Tuesday night, when Bonnie hosts, she could come up there and she could hold Charlie. She could have the Pinot hosting and have Charlie all together in one big package.
I miss those days. I definitely miss those days.
Me too. I said I loved working your weekend nights. I love Friday nights. My Thursday days, I have a really great crowd too, but Tuesday nights was just something that I looked forward to.
Yeah.
I knew I was going to get to see everybody. And even me, there's been some nights that we had some different people come in that I didn't know, and different people. And it was great because everyone became my bodyguard. Who is that, Jen? Did you ever meet that person?
Right. Who is that?
What's going on here?
Like,
are they okay? Do we need to get rid of them?
Yeah.
You've been there for those nights.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, not only just for comedy, but like I've definitely been, over there for a bit. But do you have a particular set of, like, do you have a particular joke that you've heard that just stays with you and every time you hear it, you just laugh at it?
I guess you guys have all said so many different jokes that I kind of have to go with. I'm going to go with the politically correct answer that I like them all equally. Just because I love everybody equally.
Yeah.
But, I think sometimes, I'm trying to think. I don't know. The goat yoga always got me because it was like he came right at me with that joke, knowing. And even having that mural put up, that mural itself was
with Black Body
for everybody. Yeah.
Black Body. Oh my God.
Oh, Black Body. That was funny.
Yeah. That was definitely funny. That was definitely very funny. I mean, I really can't wait for us to get back to all of that, and hopefully, I mean, I know it's going to be different. Yes. Going back, but I mean, it's always been like a home base for us to do an open mic. I mean, I used to blow lights just to get there on time. This way I could sign up early or like quickly like text Bonnie, like Bonnie, like put me in fifth. Like I need to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I know there's going to be 30
and you were
comics
hanging
there.
out
like,
late with us.
Yeah, I definitely did. And, I don't know how I pulled that off, but I mean, there was literally a time when I first started doing comedy that I was out at an open mic every single night of the week. I was literally out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday was the only night that there wasn't any. And then usually shows Friday, Saturdays, whatever it was, so it really did get, it did get crazy. But then I kind of scaled it back because I was just like, I'm working a lot and just a lot of things going on. I just couldn't, crazy.
It's a crazy schedule.
Yeah, it is because I work 2 jobs and I'm doing things, but you know that because you work till, whatever time in the morning, but it's hard to have a life when you do creative things. And plus I have, the TV shows and stuff like that I do, all that other creative stuff that I do on the side, it's not easy to do that. It's not easy to do anything. But I feel like the bartenders in any place, whether you're in a club, whether you're in a comedy club, whether just regular bar, those are the people and that's the one thing that like they'll tell you in comedy, like when you start doing comedy, get to know the bartenders and talk to them and get to know them because they're the ones that know everybody. They can introduce you to people. So you're like, I mean, you could be like a matchmaker. You can break up fights. You can like, you know what I mean? Like you can do like all this different stuff. I mean, like what's like the one memory that stands out for you where it's just like that one, I mean, I know you told me about that woman, but like the one night that really stands out, you're like, wow, like I can't believe that just happened right
Well, I did have one customer come in and go into the women's room and start peeing in the garbage can. That always kind of is definitely something that resonates in my brain.
No.
I'm trying to think of crazy moments, and there's been a lot of good moments. But as you even bring up matchmaking, I had two people that became friends of mine. They ended up meeting there, and I might have gotten one a little more drunk than I should have. Things happen, and they're married now with a baby.
Oh,
So
cool.
you just don't know what's going to happen or the people
Yeah.
that you meet. I mean, even this past birthday, I've had customers that I haven't even seen in a while. And I hate saying it this way because it sounds morbid, but I got more flowers than a funeral parlor had at one
Oh,
point.
yeah. Well, you love
So
funeral parlors. We all know you love horror. I'm surprised you're wearing
it's
pink.
true. Maybe that's why I got it, but
Yeah, exactly.
it's, they're just, people are just amazing people. I've met some really crazy people at the bars, and I've met some really great people that have become my good friends.
Yeah.
And they're a part of my life. And it's not just my coasters life, it's my everyday life, even though coasters is a big chunk of my life.
Yeah. I wasn't there that night. Bonnie was just bringing up the night that the equipment went on fire. I was not there that night.
Yeah, that was definitely a lit night. And all
Teresa
of a
saved the day
sudden,
on that.
you
Yeah.
see sparks and everyone's going, what do we do? People are going outside, people are inside. But you know what? Devin unplugged it. Everything was cool.
Thank
Everything
God.
turned up. That was definitely an interesting night there. I mean, coasters is so hot, it's going on fire.
I know. So I know
This is
you
why I
like
don't do
horror movies,
jokes.
but do you actually have like a favorite comedy movie that makes you laugh?
Hmm.
That's a tough
I,
one. I know. Oh,
I
I've got
really like
questions,
Mrs.
girl.
Doubtfire.
Oh my God, it's classic. I love that movie. No one ever
But
says that. I love that movie.
yeah,
I
Mrs.
love that.
Doubtfire.
Especially with the horses like eating the cake. I'm like, you lucky fuck.
It's true. And Robin Williams is just such a great actor.
Yeah, I love
Yeah, that
that
he
movie.
died. But there's so many movies. I'm like one of those people. The problem is that even when they ask you your favorite color, depending upon the day, I'm gonna
Right.
have like pink and then we'll like green. Like I like everything. And that's why it's so hard to figure me out, I think, sometimes because I can't even figure myself out. It's like, yeah, today I
I
like
think that
this.
pretty much nails you down. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, in a way, you know what I mean? Like, I still get like some surprises, but like, you know, we definitely became like easy friends. And I'm not
Yes.
really like a person to like befriend people very easily. I don't know why, but it definitely helped to see you like all the time because like that's the one thing that I need. Like, I need to see you consistently so that I know, you know, because I have a memory of like a goldfish. So it's like, all right, well, I remember you now. So
Me too.
friends. Yeah.
Even like in bartending, I might not know your name, but I'll know what drink you drink
Yeah, hell
and who
yeah.
you're hanging out with. I'll know everything about your family, but I might not just know who your name is, but that's okay.
If somebody were to write a comedy about your life, who would
Okay.
play you?
I like Jennifer Tilly,
I like Jennifer Tilly too.
right? I think she could play
Yeah,
me pretty good.
I like
Depending
Jennifer
upon the
Tilly.
color of my hair at the time, that could work
Yeah.
out pretty well.
So there's definitely something about you that's very unique. And I like to put things very simple and blunt, but
And
it
that's why I
is
love you.
Organ Donation Awareness Month. And you are literally sitting there with someone else's heart in your body.
Yes. It's
Describe that to me because that, when I think about that, like you died.
you do.
You explain it because I can't. I'm picturing like Frankenstein, all these things. I'm in bed. Tell me a story. Tell me the story. Raise
You know,
awareness about organ donation.
that's kind of what I thought about it too when I first was told that I was going to need this transplant, but
How old were you?
I was 13.
Oh,
13. I know
yeah, that's
back way back when now,
babe.
but it's true. It's a crazy thought, and I think people still have that perspective that oh my
But
God,
why did
you
you
don't
need a
have.
new heart? That's the one thing I don't know. Why did you need a new heart?
I got sick very quickly after my 13th birthday, which was March 4th, and it ended up being that I had something called acute cardiomyopathy, where you get a virus and they're not really sure why you get this virus. In the transplant world, it's very common, not in everyday life.
Right.
And for me, it destroyed my heart so much that it was so enlarged I couldn't even walk a foot. So I ended up at Columbia Presbyterian Hospital for 3 months with a
Right.
Broviac tube in my neck. And on July 6, 1996, that's when Matthew saved my life. And it was the greatest gift that I could have ever received. Even though transplantation isn't a cure, it gives you a second chance at life. And for me, that's why I share my story. And a lot of times on Facebook, you'll see that over and over. But it's the only way that I could really honor my donor
Right.
and the way that I could say thank you to him. Because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here. It wasn't the easiest growing up, especially I was 13, right after I was taking about 40 pills a day. I still take 20 to 25 pills a day.
Now
And
that's just to keep like everything, because the body can still reject the heart,
yeah,
you're saying?
even years later, a few years ago, I had some stuff come up, knock on wood. I'm doing good. Nobody seems to know exactly why, but I go with it. Whether it's
Yeah.
prayers you want to say, or just not my time, or intervention, whatever you believe. But it's really a journey. I mean, when I was younger, as I said, I really didn't appreciate it as much. I would go and speak places. I've spoken with Joe Torre, Regis Philbin.
Hmm.
I've been very blessed to meet many celebrities in my journey, where
Right.
now you can't shut me up to talk about it. But when I was younger, I really didn't want to speak on it. And even meeting my donor mom about 5 years ago, that was, I'd say, one of the very defining moments in my life.
Now let me ask you like a personal question, because you know I'm crazy.
I like crazy.
Yeah. Did you ever feel like, okay, if I knew that that were my child that died to give you that heart, I would feel like, fuck you, bitch. You know what I mean? Like, I would just feel like, did you ever get that from her? Did she ever really like, did you ever feel like she felt some sort of like, did she ever make you feel uncomfortable or anything like that? Like, did you ever feel guilty?
I felt a lot of remorse. I still do. I have something called survivor's guilt. Even though it wasn't my fault I got sick and Matthew would have passed anyway, whether it
Well, he
was for
died in
me
a
or
car
not.
accident, right?
He actually was a gunshot victim. And he was 14. And a picture that I have of him was taken the day before he passed on.
I
So
didn't
I
know
always
that. I
felt,
thought he died in a car accident.
yeah. And it was rough because I always felt, why me? I had a friend of mine that ended up passing away because they didn't get a transplant and they were sick a lot longer than I was. And even to this day, sometimes I question, did I do enough with my life or whatever the case is? But with my donor mom, when I met her, it was hard because I always wanted to say thank you. I had my life 18 years later. She was
Well,
meeting
she made
me.
that choice to give you the heart, because I know he would have been too young to have made that choice.
Yeah.
She could have
And
said no.
it's true. And for her, it really was something to choose this gift and to meet me 18 years later. She's now dealing with a tragedy again, where for me, it was something I just wanted to thank her and a happy moment.
Right.
And
Well, I
I
feel like it
think,
is a happy moment because, you know, we live in people's memories and their minds when we pass on. But to
yes,
have a piece of you, and that's what I want people to understand about organ donation right now, because I'm an organ donor, even though probably by the time I die, nothing is going to be good. But I just kind of want to like let people know that you have a piece of you that's still here on this earth, whether it be your eyes, your heart, your bones, your blood, whatever it is, you have a piece of you that's left here on this planet that is going to live on for at least another 10, 20 years, whatever it is. So
and
don't
that's
feel like, it's going to be something really horrible, because it's not. And don't be afraid to donate your organs, because trust me when I tell you, when you're dead, and there's really nothing that you're not going to feel anything. You're not going to be in pain. You're not going to be aware of it. Yes, you will go to heaven. Yes, you don't have to go, you don't have to die with all of your organs in your body in order to be complete. Your body has nothing to do with it. Trust the psychic medium when I tell you, your soul and your spirit is what is in you, not the body. So don't be afraid to be an organ donor, because it does save lives and people do need it, especially right now when we're going through all of this stuff. You just never know. I mean, if I had a choice, if I knew that I wasn't going to make it and I had a choice to give my something for someone else, I would in a heartbeat, especially for a child, because there would just be no way that I couldn't. There would be no way that I would be able to be like, if I was, because I know one time there was a girl, and this is why it's important to be different. And I never felt so good about being my particular mix of race, because there was a young girl that needed bone marrow,
Okay.
and that's very rare to find a match for that. And I said, you know what? I said, I think I should go get tested. And I did, and I was a match. And unfortunately, she passed away before
I'm sorry
but
to
I would
hear
have
that.
given anything. I mean, I knew it was going to hurt. I knew it was going to be a pain. I knew it, but I had to go because I just felt in my gut that I would be a match for this particular girl, because it, depending on like how mixed, all these different things, you just don't really know. So I did, and I was a match. And they said, well, unfortunately, she had passed away before we could do anything, but because it's a whole process to even get that. But it's very important, especially if you have a particular mix of race. You should give blood. You should, get tested to see if you are a match, because you really could, you could save somebody, because it's rare. It just depends. So
I agree 100% everything you just said. I wish more people had that perspective and they thought about it in a different way until it really hits home. I don't think people do think about that. Even for me, when I met my donor mom, she had said that her mother told her that she shouldn't donate the organs, and she decided on her own to do it. And if she didn't do that, I wouldn't be here. And he donated all his organs, so there would be other people that weren't as well.
so he gave basically everything,
Yes.
whatever they could use.
And that's why I share, as I said, this picture. This was taken a day before he passed away
That's
with
him
his
in the
sister.
middle.
Yeah, in the middle is Matthew. And again, I have his heart inside of me. And I tell people to think about organ donation almost in a way, if would you be willing to receive an organ? And if your answer is yes, then you really should think about becoming one yourself.
Yeah.
I'm one myself, and it's again, I wouldn't have had a life. I mean, this was me. We're just in the hospital, you wait, you don't really know what's going on. I'm very fortunate that I think I was so young,
Yeah.
because going through it as an adult is a very different ballgame. As a child, I knew somebody was going to have to pass away for me to live. But you're in a hospital, you're sheltered, you're going to school, you go to child life programs.
You're waiting for somebody to die to save you.
They even told my parents, because I was in there in April, May, June. When July was hitting, they said, well, around holidays, we end up getting more organs just because of different accidents. There's a lot of drunk drivers. So it's sad that they
So
even
they
have to.
know there's like an algorithm to it.
I
They
know.
know.
They told my parents to think about that. Hopefully, I would get one by July 4th, because at that point, I started out when I got there with 2 IV pumps, and then 3, and then I was almost at 4. And what they'll do sometimes is put you almost into a coma while you're waiting on the heart lung machine if you get that ill. So I was getting to that point. And then that heart came in July 6th, which was only 2 days
Wow.
after
So they knew.
the
Yeah.
4th.
I mean, I can relate because I was born 2 or 3 months early.
Yes.
I was a near crib death baby, and I had heart murmurs and I had heart problems. And I know, like, having heart problems, like I did, like, just with heart murmurs and stuff growing up, having to get, tested to see if my patent ductus was closed, just going and just having issues with that, but I was a young girl, so I really didn't understand, like, having to wear like a heart monitor to make sure everything was okay. And even just, having to go get your heart checked out now, like as an adult, like everything's fine, thank God. But I mean, that was a major reason as to why I chose to get weight loss surgery, because I knew, that heart disease and all of these things were in my future. I knew it. And it's, I felt like I didn't always feel like I would live. I knew that if I didn't get weight loss surgery, I probably wouldn't be here right now. So, I mean, sometimes you have to give up an organ in order to, to save your life. And, it was a decision that I made.
it was probably the best decision, as you said, that you could have made for yourself. And it was something that is going to be
I'll
your
never regret
journey.
that. Yep,
And
I'll never regret it.
you're going to help so many people just by your journey to inspire them. And that's the wonderful thing too, where I love when I see people post about their stories. And I know, I'm sure in general, we all look sometimes at certain people's posts like, oh my God, they're posting this again, or they're doing this again. But you're able to help. I don't care as much. I mean, I do still sometimes, but I don't care as much as I did. But you never know who you're going to help. And you never know that one person that it's going to be that affect you.
And even if they don't, I feel like even if they don't post like an acknowledgement of it,
yeah,
I still feel like, all right, you're listening to me. And I know that you're seeing it. But when I started doing, with that, I feel like the message sinks in, even your message with, about organ donation. Maybe the next time somebody out there hearing this might be like, well, I'm going to, Teresa has a good question. I'm going to get to that in a second. You're going to check off that box when you go into DMV to say, yes, I'll be an organ donor.
That's what I hope. I hope, because I've gotten a lot of people, even, so this picture was taken by a wonderful guy named Tim Boyles, and he took it when I met my donor mom. It still spreads, because this is the first thing she did was place her head against my chest and say, that's my boy. She listened to her son's heartbeat again. And I was on Reddit. I didn't even know what Reddit was years ago. And people could be mean. I was called like Drake and Britney Spears baby. And even though they're good looking people, the way they said it, or why is my donor mom by my chest? Like, why is she by my boob? People
very stupid. But people don't know how to process the emotions of that.
Exactly. But within that, I've had so many people that's why I keep my Facebook open. Honestly, I probably have 3,000 people on there. Maybe I talk to my dad, Christy, you, Bonnie, the people that I normally talk to. But I've gotten messages from people that have said, I'm a donor family. I'm a donor mom. I'm waiting for a transplant. Actually, somebody ended up, a friend of a friend's friend knew someone, and this boy messaged me, and he was waiting for his transplant. I actually ended up talking to him right before he went in for his transplant. We used to text each other every day. Sadly enough, he had the transplant, but he was so sick that he ended up passing away not long after.
So then what do they do with that transplanted organ? They just give it to someone else?
They can't retransplant it, but yeah, it's a shame when things like that happen. So it's, especially now, they said that they really need people to sign up to be organ donors because COVID is affecting so many people, and they really can't transplant organs that have the disease in there, knowing, and people are being sent home. People that should get transplants aren't. And even one of the medications, cyclosporin, is being used in some studies as a drug treatment, which is scary for transplant people, though, because now that could be taking away some of our medication.
Wow.
It was a whole different ball game all around. And I usually get questions. A lot of people like, oh, are you okay? Even when all this started going down, and I'm very appreciative of it, and I understand where people come from, but probably about a week prior to when we got locked down, oh, are you okay? Maybe you shouldn't be going out right now.
Yeah.
And even now, are you home? Do you have your mask? Do you have, gloves? Are you okay? And I've been very fortunate that my dad has dropped me stuff off. Dennis dropped me stuff off. I talked to you, Chrissy's talking to me. Everybody gets me what I need. John gets me stuff. Everybody has things. So I'm a lucky girl in that way.
So Teresa said she wants to know, do they give you psychological help to prepare you mentally?
Well, they try to. Now, I was 13, and I will tell you right now, if you interrupted my child lifetime, I didn't want to deal with you, whether you were a doctor or a nurse.
Yeah.
And they would have a social worker come in, but I kind of remember blowing them off because they used to tell me to go into my magical cloud car and make all your problems go away, and be like, all right, lady, you go in your magical cloud car too.
Maybe and all the problems, a roller coaster to fucking hell with flames of inferno all the way down, like maybe, but
they do try to. I've heard of from adults, and even me when I went through some stuff a couple of years ago, they try to do it, but I think there needs to be a lot more in that department before, as she's saying, and
I
after.
agree. Even with weight
'Cause-
loss surgery, like I literally sat in a room with this woman typing away, not even looking at me, and like asking me, like, do you feel suicidal? Like, do you feel this? Do you feel that? I'm like, do you really seriously want me to answer that question?
Yeah,
Like, no, I don't feel suicidal. Like, why would you think that? Like, here I am sitting in your office trying to make moves to save my life. Why would you be asking me if I'm killing myself? But there's no psychological follow up after that to help you with the emotions that come with changing your body and having to adapt to something that's been taken from you. And I
it's
feel like
true.
it's the same thing. I mean, I'm okay with I mean, I was not okay the first 2 days after when I first saw my stomach for the first time on when because they give you the they do like an X-ray of your
Okay.
stomach. And I have never seen what my stomach looks like, but I know what the stomach looks like, just from seeing pictures. But I literally had you could see the esophagus and you see everything else. And I literally saw something that was this big.
Oh gosh.
And I just cried. And I said, oh my God, like, what did I do to myself? And I didn't realize the impact that that would have on me. And then how I felt afterwards. And my mother was like, it's just the anesthesia. Like, relax, like, you're fine. Like, you're fine. Like, you're fine. Like, I just remember thinking to myself, like, how did you feel? Like, even for you, like, how did you feel waking up from that? Like, knowing that you were going to die. You knew you were going to die. They had to kill you in order to do this. Like, I can't even imagine the type of surgeon, and thank God for these surgeons. I thank my bariatric surgeon
Yes.
every time I see him. I said, thank you so much for going to school to learn how to do this. I know it's a very simple procedure. It's minimally invasive, but it's serious. I mean, it can be a very serious thing where something like that could happen. I mean, you were only 13 years old. If I had to go through something like that as an adult, I'd be shitting my pants thinking like, okay, I'm going to die.
It's scary. I mean, that's why I'm so fortunate, as I said, that I think I went through it as a kid. And even when I was going through things a few years ago, that's when it hit home.
Right.
To know the reality of stuff, and you're signing everything yourself. You're doing all that stuff yourself. You're the one talking to the surgeon, the psychiatrist,
Yeah.
different things. And even then, they ask you these questions, like you're sitting in a hospital room and you're waiting for a transplant. It's like, how do you feel? I don't know what they want you to say.
Right. Like, how do you expect
But
me to feel? But you don't remember
yeah,
dying. You don't remember dying at all.
I don't really remember that part. I think because it's been 23 years now, it'll be 24 in July.
Well,
Knock
I
on
don't
wood.
think that they actually kill you because your
Your
brain's
heart
still alive.
stops. They put you on a heart and lung machine
Right.
for a few minutes, but I don't remember any of that. People have asked me before, did I see any white lights or anything of that nature? I don't really remember, but I think it also was so long ago
Right.
that I wasn't able to do it. And I sort of have this ability to forget things. I don't know if it's my mind protecting itself.
Well, I think that there's a difference between dying, like people that have died, usually they're not, anesthesia suppresses the brain
Yes.
so much that you're not really able to really remember anything. I mean, it was like literally like, they put you out and the next thing you know, you're waking up. I think that if you had died on the table before they did any anesthesia, I think that you would have, it may have happened. Where
Oh
you
yeah,
may
I
have
agree.
everything. But if it's not your time to go, you're not just gonna go. You know what I mean? Like I mean, you're not gonna stay in your body either. But I mean, if it's not your time, it's just not your time.
I
So
agree
you
with
just
that.
might
And
not remember.
I know that Matthew's around. I always say that I always have him with me. And there's certain things that I think I do, or the way I live my life is
Yeah.
for him. And when I spoke to my donor mom, we had a lot of similarities and the stuff that we liked. And even with her, I got tattoos when I was young. Whatever you agree or disagree, it is what it is. People have their own thoughts on it.
Yeah.
But I have on my wrist, it's a little bit of a weird angle, but that heart with angel wings.
Yeah.
And my donor mom has the same tattoo on her chest right here.
And you didn't know that she had it.
I never saw her. And like I said, I met her 18 years later. So it was crazy that we both had it. And everybody knows I love animals. I mean, if it was up to me, I'd live in a zoo. Just put it out there. If anybody wants to send me a hypoallergenic dog or cat, I'm not going to say no. Just
Yeah, she
saying.
wants a hypoallergenic dog or cat.
But I love all animals. Like I said, I'd have a monkey and a pig, and my donor loved animals too. He just loved
Yeah.
to be outside, which I do. He loved adventure. She has multiple children, and she said that he was the kindest out of all her kids. Not that she doesn't love the rest of them, but
Right,
he
but he was the
really,
nicest.
she said that if he could have made that choice, she thinks out of everybody, he would have chose it on his own to be an organ donor. Not that
Right, that
you
he had a
hope
kid.
that that's the thing too. When we ask people to sign up, we don't want anybody or anything bad to happen to people. Even when I speak, I say, I'm not going to lock you in a room if you don't choose to be an organ donor. I
Yeah, I mean
share my
it's a
story.
very personal choice. I mean it's very because I think that people have because I think they see how it happens on TV and
Yeah,
they I mean they really do kind of have to keep you alive to get what they need to find
it's
out
true.
what's good. So if they know that you're an organ donor, and I also feel like but we're not gonna let's not talk about that because you know I think that our doctors are well trained enough to know whether or not someone's going to live or they're going to die.
Yes, they do. There's two
They
separate
know,
teams.
right?
There's a
It's two
whole
separate
thing.
things.
Actually, I just spoke not long ago before all this happened, probably like 2 weeks prior at Hofstra to different medical staff. These are now the people that are going to be doctors.
Yeah,
And the reason why we speak, and I love speaking to them, is because I tell them, please remember that not each patient is the same. We are
right.
all individuals, and kind of try to have some sort of bedside manner
Yeah,
when you go in there. But it's true. These stories, it's crazy. Even Vinny, he got to hear some stuff and what people think, and it's insane. He even said he wants to try to change the system. I said, I've been trying for years. You hope that you can, but I forgot the name of it. There was just some movie that came out though in December. It's about a girl that ended up getting a heart transplant,
I saw
and
that
yeah, and her
on
boyfriend
Netflix.
that you think is her boyfriend is the ghost of the guy. There's certain things that, like, I don't feel
Yeah,
that
there's
I'm
always
dating
that. Yeah,
Matthew. I don't think he's
right.
here with me and he's my boyfriend now. Like, hey, Matthew, he's my donor, who I
Well,
love very much.
that's the funny thing about it. I mean, there's one thing I didn't know about pregnancy. When a woman is pregnant, she actually carries the cells of her child within her body for the rest of her life. I
Really? So
didn't
I
know
didn't know that
that,
either.
and I was just like, wow, okay, like I had no idea that was something, and that's why a mother's bond to her child, is very very strong because if you were to lose said child, you're essentially losing, a part of you. You are losing a part of yourself.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I've heard stories of people that have had. I mean, of course, there's plenty of horror movies out there where people have had organ donors, or maybe they got an organ donor for somebody who's crazy, and the person became like a killer or
And I
whatever.
watch them.
Of course, we watch them. Is that true? I don't know. I mean, cells have life. Cells are capable of communicating with each other. That's how we survive. I mean, even the food that you eat, it comes from a cell. That's why sometimes the
It's
most
true.
healthiest people on the planet are vegetarians because the cells from a plant are much healthier and can communicate with what we have as opposed to the cells of a dead animal because you're taking a plant is alive. you know, a, 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 a living animal goes through tragedy and trauma and all this type of stuff. And when you eat them, you're absorbing that energy. But when you eat the cells of a plant, you're not exactly absorbing anything negative. Broccoli is not crying when it gets killed,
No.
so I mean,
I've only been a vegetarian
how
about
is
10 years though.
yeah, vegetarianism is definitely the best thing. I just actually made I made lentil moussaka tonight, vegan lentil moussaka. I will be posting that recipe tomorrow. But I that's another thing that I decided as a personal choice after weight loss surgery. I just said, you know what, I don't want to eat meat. I never wanted to eat meat. I always hated it, and it was just something that you did. I mean, that was just what we were taught. But I had wanted to be a vegetarian for years, and my mother was like, no, and I'm like, but the cow on TV just got killed, and I got so upset. I really hated it. I mean, I remember I saw this cow getting like mistreated, and I was just like, like I don't want to eat. And I remember telling my mother, like, I'm a vegetarian, like I don't want to eat meat, and she just wouldn't listen. So, my primary source of food comes from plants, and it comes from beans, and it comes from seeds, and I've lived more than half of my life eating way too much of horrible things. So, I mean, I know especially for you, I mean, do you have to follow like a certain diet because of the transplant?
I, I don't know if that's funny stories in itself. See, I could have some funny stories that I just don't know how to say them properly. That's why I'm not a comic, and now I want to be a comic, and I just love
Most of them
bartending. But
don't.
I gained a lot of weight. I mean, I was never a little child. I just
Right.
wasn't. I was, I always had little chipmunk cheeks. That's kind of a chubby little child. And after the transplant, I blew up though. Now I'm only 5'2". So at my heaviest, I weighed almost 235 pounds.
Uh-huh.
But again, I'm 5'2". So it showed I just was like this little roly girl in my arms. For years, my doctors would tell me, you have to lose weight, you have to lose weight. But it was hard for my parents. I was crazy. I'm still crazy. But I was 13 on steroids. I loved you. I hated you. I would feel bad for my mom. I'd complain I'm hungry because I was always hungry. So she'd feed me. And then I complained because I couldn't fit into anything. So now my poor mom had to spend all this money to buy me new clothes. But then I complained because I was hungry again.
Right.
So they used to send me to Weight Watchers meetings when I was 18, and I would take the money and go buy Burger King with it. And
Gangsta.
yeah, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to Weight Watchers. And they'd be like, you're not losing any weight because I was eating chicken sandwiches and onion rings with milkshakes, dipping them in the parking lot. So, of course, you're not
Yeah.
losing weight. And I don't know, something clicked about 10 years ago. I'm like, you know what? I want to lose weight. I started walking, and my doctors were always telling me to do it. They actually tried to bribe me that I could get a tattoo if I lost weight. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm going to go get a tattoo anyway. You go lose weight. And then I started walking. I became a vegetarian. I was going to school to get my BSW, which I ended up graduating with, and the weight sort of came off. I still fluctuate
Yeah.
here and there. Now my goals, I'm trying to become a muscle woman, and I do yoga every day
Best
with
way.
Emerge, and it makes me
More
not go
muscle you
crazy.
have, the more fat you burn. Trust me on that. I have a
Yeah,
lot of muscle.
I'm trying, because otherwise I'm like oddly shaped. I mean, I still got my cheeks though.
Yeah.
People used to pinch them when I was younger, and I
My
first,
face doesn't matter. Like my face always looks like my cheeks are always going to be like this.
yeah, they did. I'm telling you, cheeks just never go anywhere. And when
They
I was
don't.
younger,
Yeah.
random people used to come up to me and pinch them. I'm like, "You're lucky I didn't hit you. I'm on prednisone. I was taking a lot of prednisone. I only take 5 milligrams now, but back then I would have smacked you, been like, no touch."
So let me ask you, we'll get back to the last two comic questions.
Yeah.
Have you
Uh-oh.
ever witnessed any total nightmares happen on stage? Somebody bombed so badly where you were like, oh my God. You want to say hello? Come here. You want to say hi? Want to say hi to everybody? You
I
don't?
would love to see.
Come
No,
here.
she's gonna say hi.
Come here. He might. He knows that you're on there. Come here.
I
Come
mean,
here. Yeah.
when everything went on fire, that was kind of crazy
No,
because
like a person, like a comic, actually, like bombs. Come here.
I've never really seen any of you bomb, but I've had like Birdman and Jimmy and them all go up, and Birdman does his thing, and we've all had some comedic value in his jokes.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think. I've never really seen anybody.
Don't lie.
I'm trying. I really.
You don't remember.
Okay, well,
I
I've
know
seen
you
people
don't
have
remember.
meltdowns outside.
That's the meltdown. Yeah. I think we've all seen those.
But most people would understand that meltdown and have seen it, so we don't name names. Bartender
Yeah,
never names
right.
names, and I have my BSW, so I don't know nothing.
Yeah, no.
I know nothing
But we
ever.
all know what we're talking about, right, buddy? All right, so the infamous question on infamous comments is the question everybody answers most famous. All right. Any comic, famous or non-famous, that you would take to bed?
So everybody knows I have a certain type.
Okay.
Um, famous, I happen to love like Jack Black or Josh Gad. I'd bring him in. I'd have Olaf in here with me, and we'd all be hanging out in bed, and it'd be a good time.
Jack Black, Nacho Libre.
Yeah. Now, if you go with, I'm not gonna lie, I think Fat Jay is adorable.
Woo! Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, he is cute.
That's why I give him extra popcorn, you know? It just is what it
Oh,
is.
yeah.
And I love
That's
Keegan too, you know? They're both like my little, yeah. But
you could have like a Keegan Fat J sandwich.
yeah, sure, that'd be fine.
Yeah.
And we could
Why
add
not?
Josh Glad and you know, we could add all of my men, so it'd be fun times.
That would be so funny. That would
And
definitely
you
be
know, I'd
fun.
have you come in too. We'd all be hanging out. It'd just be one big party. Knowing me,
Why
we'd
can we
probably
have
be
that picture of like me, you, and Jay with like the Fat Lives Matter t-shirts on?
yeah, we just I don't know. There's just something about him that's very I don't know if it's love for popcorn like me or what it is, but
Yeah, I like
and
that.
I have a very fond love for Devin, but not like, you know, even
Yeah,
fact hey, I not like that. I just think they're all adorable.
they're very squishy.
Yeah.
Very squishy guys. They're very sweet guys, and they're also very funny.
Yes.
So
That's why I love it.
you got hair all over me. I'm gonna shave you. You got hair all
These are
over.
the only pets I have.
Oh my god, that's scary. You definitely need a pet. I really
Yeah,
think that you definitely need
I
one.
know. I
Definitely.
know it's time.
So I'm hoping to see you again in the near future. Maybe
Me
I'll come sit
too.
on your deck and like talk to you.
That's fine by me.
You
And I have
know,
a mask and we could be like, hi.
oh, I hate those masks. I really
I
do.
know.
Can't even fucking talk. Like I'm walking around the store and I'm just like, all right, let me just drink a beer and smoke a cigarette and like smell my own breath. This way I kind of feel like I'm making out with a guy. You know?
It's like, yeah, you can get it on with yourself. Why not? It's quarantine
Yeah, all
style.
fogged up and walking around, everything's all fogged up. You smell like a condom. How could you not get turned on? You know?
I think, yeah, we have to turn on ourselves, unless the CDC said we can't do that either now. Who knows?
Well, that's the thing that no one's talking about. They're not talking about the lack of sex. That's what's driving some of these people crazy. Is it's the lack of sex because there's a lot of single people out there whether you like it or not. Or you're stuck in the house with somebody that doesn't have sex with you. I mean, it's got to be like the worst thing ever.
I
Like you got to
agree.
think of all these marriages and all these like crazy relationships where people had been fighting before, and then all of a sudden, like now you're locked in the house. I can't think of a worse horror movie than to just be locked in the house with somebody who's like
I think
that.
that should be the next horror movie. It's true.
It that should
Quarantine.
be quarantine, no sex.
No boom boom. Cause
Yeah,
that's why I mean I'm telling you right now, a lot of the people, you know, they come to bars, they talk again. I don't talk about who does what or
I've
whatnot, but
heard them talk about it. Yeah,
as soon as that bar opens, like you can't keep them out. Like I'm
yeah.
surprised right now we just don't have them lined up. I have the Ring app on the phone. It's like you just see them. It's like they're going by there to see what's happening. They just want to leave
Get
their
out,
spouses
go
or whatever the
drink.
case is.
Yeah, I can imagine because it's like going to a bar is for many people is an escape. And just sitting there on your couch and drinking by yourself, especially when you can't escape the person that you want to escape, has got to be like awful. I even escape myself because I just go sit in my car and just kind of hang out, because I can't just sit in this house.
You need
You
to. You
know,
need to get outside sometimes.
yeah, I sit in the
Even
park
though
every
even the
day.
other day I went by my friends just to give her a bottle of wine for her birthday, and they're like, "Go back inside." I'm like, "Okay, I'm going back inside."
Yeah, you
The
really have to.
quarantine doesn't bother me. As I said, I've been locked up for longer than that, and well, that sounds bad. In a hospital, not like locked up, locked up. I don't think I look good in orange.
Uh,
Well, unless it's Islander colors, but in general, you just try the best you can.
yeah, everybody out there is saying hi. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Anyone
Thank
who
you
watches
guys
my
for
show,
watching. I think I owe a lot of people now my firstborn, but that's never happening. So joke's on you.
not doing anything anyway. It's Thursday night. We're having a party, man. I'm gonna actually probably go like get drunk and like probably call you on the phone anyway.
I like it. Yeah, we could just a Zoom party anyway. Whoever
I
wants
mean,
to
there's been
join,
plenty
hit
of
us
times I
up.
almost killed myself at the bar. So you imagine what the hell I do here in the house.
Tell them anyone that wants to hit us up. We'll have an. This is like the after party now. We're like
After
the after
party.
Zoom party.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so thank you everybody for watching In Bed with Comics. I have my friend and bartender from Coasters, Jennifer Lentini, and her doll Charlie. As always, if you are a stand-up comic and you would like to be on In Bed with Comics, I am on live on Facebook every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 o'clock, and I would love to meet some new comics out there that don't actually know me, because it's always good to know, get to know new people, and I know that, like, I've befriended thousands of new comics just like sitting here being at home. So I would really, really love it if somebody would hit me up and be like, hey, I don't know you. I'd like to be in your show. So anyway, thank everybody for watching. Jen, don't go anywhere.
Thank
I'm gonna end the
you.
live, and then I can sit there and chat with you. But thank you everybody for watching. Good night, and I will see you next Tuesday with I don't know who, but I'll be back.
I'll be listening.
Bye.
I always do, guys.
Thank you so much for your support, Jen. We love you. Hold on, let me see if I can get this out of here.